Welcome back to Great Day Washington. Today we meet two astronauts who've recently returned to Earth from after a 6-month mission on the International Space Station.
Please welcome NASA astronauts Anne McClain and Nick Hague. We are so excited. I am totally geeked about having you guys here. So we're really glad to have you here. Oh, what was it like? I mean, I can't wrap my brain around the whole, zero gravity thing. And you were in space. I mean, you weren't just in the rocket, you were in space. What was that like?
That's right. We both had the opportunity to spend about 6.5 months on the International Space Station. It's this national orbiting laboratory in low Earth orbit, about 250 miles up. You fly up on a Russian Soyuz vehicle. We spent 6 months doing science, repairs, maintenance, Earth observations. We got to live in space. That's the difference these days. For 20 years, that space station has been continuously manned, and we were fortunate to spend some time up there.
And you did a spacewalk together. So outside, we have, I saw some pictures and video with like Earth behind you. How cool was that?
Yeah, it's a life-changing experience. And we were fortunate enough to get to both do our first spacewalk together. So not really knowing what to expect.
Right.
You know, the first time you do it is the first time. And going out there and working side by side with Anne was just an amazing experience.
So this is some video of your spacewalk. And you guys are smiling, so that's good.
Yeah, we're taking the obligatory selfie. I mean, you got to capture that moment, but
Space selfie.
Yeah, I love that.
Those are just a couple of the fun moments. You know, getting to see your own shadow. I remember looking down on that shot, seeing your own shadow behind the Earth, and here's Nick. Taking that selfie, and those are really just a couple of fun little moments. But a spacewalk, we were outside for 6.5 hours. It's an intense and physical job that requires 100% of your focus. And so, those fun moments are great to have, but we were very proud that we got to upgrade some of the systems on the space station so we can extend the life of space station.
Yeah, it's like running a marathon. We're in those suits for about 12 hours.
Oh, wow. What is that? I mean,
That's
are they heavy? What is it like inside of them?
Well, in space, it doesn't weigh anything.
Right.
Yeah. But it just seems like so much because, as I mentioned, I did some fire journalism. I have to put all this stuff on the gear. But as you mentioned, yes, it is that floating feeling, which I could never get used to. What about, I got some questions about food on my Facebook page. What do you guys do for food? I would be remiss if I didn't ask that, Kristen. You know I would be. What do you guys do for food out there?
Yeah, so our food, it's very similar to what they do for soldiers when they deploy. So it's all preserved food, it's in packages, a lot of it's dehydrated, so we have to add water to it just to try to conserve the weight because it costs to send water to space. So we recycle all the water up there, or as much as we can. But to be honest, the food's pretty tasty.
Very tasty.
It's not at all like the space ice cream.
I was going to say, as
no.
a kid, and probably kids out there, you get that package as vanilla, chocolate, strawberry, like a kind of a pasty, but you guys had real ice cream right here.
We do sometimes get the opportunity to get some real ice cream up there. Our scientists can kind of sneak us up some every now and then, but and actually we fly the freezers for science. Most of what we're doing up there is science. So to preserve our samples, we send them down in freezers. Sometimes they can sneak a little ice cream on the trip up for us.
Oh, that is a real treat, I'm sure.
You don't want to send an empty freezer up there, but okay, so then, fun aside, though, the work, the mission that you guys are on, where are we? Where are we in terms of sending somebody to Mars? What are we starting to see?
Yeah, so the Artemis program and going back to the moon by 2024 is where we're at right now. And on the space station, we're working to shake out some of the equipment that we're going to end up using to build the infrastructure necessary to do that. So we're going back to the moon, and that's going to help us learn what we need to go on to Mars.
And Nick, talk to us because you were on a mission that had to be aborted. I watched some of the video and my heart just sank. I'm sure you were skipped a beat as well.
It may have.
Yeah. Tell us what it's like for that, and then if you could also tell us what it's like for training up for a moment like that when something doesn't quite go as planned.
So 95% of the training that we do is to prepare for the things that we hope never are going to happen, for the failures. And so this was one of those scenarios that we had trained for and prepared for. So in the moment, the emotions kind of get set aside. And you focus on, okay, this is the job, and I know that my best chance for survival is to do the procedures flawlessly. And so working together with my cosmonaut crewmate and being able to pull through that by just following the procedures and relying on the ground team.
What made you want to become an astronaut? I'm always curious, yeah.
I think for everybody it's a little bit different. I first told my mom I wanted to be an astronaut when I was 3 years old.
Really?
Really. And it
Wow.
was when I went to preschool my first day, I had my lunchbox and I said, I'm going to school to learn to be an astronaut. And I was really fortunate that no one told me that it was unrealistic. You know, and so what I always tell kids is have an unrealistic goal, but have a really realistic path to get there. And for us parents, if a child tells you this amazing dream, tell them that yes, you can do it, but you know, it takes a lot of work.
Well, we thank both of you for being up there, risking your lives to,
Yes.
you know, advance everything that we are learning about space and science. But we're glad you're home safe and sound on solid ground. We wanted to say real quick, the space station is going to fly over DC Monday night. You can see it at 6:34, but also go to NASA's website. You can get alerts and see when the space station's coming around. We'll be back with more Great Day right after this.